Hello, everybody. So, I've not done a video in quite some time, so I thought I would hop on here, do a video, give a shout out to someone who really has a powerful story, and I just want to share that with the folks out there. And if you've been following any of my content at all, you know I'm going to ask you to do one, well, actually, more than one thing. Please help me spread the word with these stories. See these buttons down here below? Just hit the heck out of that like button, flick the love button. If you're watching live, type out hashtag live and what city you're watching from. If by chance you are catching the replay, which the majority of people are catching the replay, and that's perfectly fine. Love you guys too. Type out hashtag replay. And with that, we are going to get into today's story. And what I'm going to do is start sharing some of these stories of the people who are transforming their lives. And it's nothing short of powerful, right? And this, I want to make this year the year that we help more and more people make an impact. So here it is. And what's crazy is what she did was so bold and just pure genius. And just thinking about that, how many powerful women do you know? Strong, beautiful, powerful women who own the value that they have. They know it and they own it. Well, you're about to hear about this lady who definitely owns it. So she applied for an internal position at her company, right? Everybody said that she was due for a promotion and was perfect for the larger role. Now, how many of us have heard that same thing? Hmm. And, after all, because she was a very hard worker, she got along with everyone at the office, the vendors, the customers loved her. So she was a shoe-in, right? Well, of course she aced the interview. I thought you see what I did there. Of course she aced the interview, but she still got rejected, even though she was the perfect top candidate on paper, and everybody thought she was going to get it. Well, how many of us have heard this before? She later learned that the person hired was a friend of her boss. You know, it happens. It stinks and nobody likes it, but what are you going to do, right? So, this wasn't the first time, though. This was not her first rodeo. Um, she basically got tired of the office politics and started applying for other companies, thinking, well, maybe it's another company, maybe a different boss, maybe that's what I'll do. That's the problem. So she discovered, though, that the older she got, the wiser she got, and her salary requirements increased. And the tolerance of office politics, yeah, that decreased. Of course, she could play along to get along, and she was very adept at maneuvering the landscape. Some of us get very good at playing the office game, right? Not that game, you sicko. But it just became too tiring. And it just didn't matter what company she was at or what boss she worked for. It all felt like the same game with just different players, just rearranging the pieces on the board. Well, then she found us. She realized for her that was the solution. It's not always a new company and a new boss. but getting back into a position of control and empowerment, a position where she could be the one, where she could be who she really is and still succeed. How many of us have to be somebody else at work than we are in our personal lives? Just to get along, just to fit in, to play the game, to get the promotion, or to even get the job. Enough. When are we going to realize you are good enough? And if the other person thinks you're not, that's their problem. You know. So she met us. I shared a story of Loretta Julie Wetzel. And this lady was an airline executive earning a large salary. She was laid off through no fault of her own and was able to turn her life around in a very short period of time. You know, with the help of us, and she's been a huge, huge inspiration for us as well as other people that were in the similar situations. And of course, it was scary. She was an executive, and that meant a lot of hours at work for this lady. And I'm not sharing her name because she didn't want her name shared. But I told her that, you know, Loretta's story was very similar. I have the same challenge with time because she's thinking, oh my God, I don't have time for this. I got this, I got that. I get it. I have work pressure. I have home pressure. I have little time for myself. The wife was pulling at me to spend more time with her and the children who are, you know, at this point, they're teenagers now. And to think about how I'm going to start a new business and carve out 10, 15, 20 hours a week, I got exhausted from just the thought of it. Why put myself through that? So what I hate, so yeah, why? Why do people do this? So what if I hate working for somebody else, you know? I don't have the energy to add something else to my plate. I'll just suck it up, you know? But then I realized that if I didn't make a different decision and take back control of my life at this stage in my life, was I ever going to win this plan? And by the way, the plan was not even my plan. It's a plan that I was told by my parents. Probably a similar plan that your parents told you and told her. It was the plan that was given to me by them, society, the media. And you know, God bless my parents. I'm sure they hated the plan just as much as I did, but it was the only plan they knew. So at the end of the day, I can't blame them. Now, obviously, as I looked at this, I realized I was going to need to make some short term sacrifices and be comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to make the time work. But 5 years from now, if I stay focused and I don't let other things distract me, I can buy my time back. I will have more options. But if I stay where I'm at, doing the 40-40-40 plan, I will never have the time or the life that I say that I want. So if I could show you how I got creative to figure out the time and why it was worth it for me, would you be willing to take the next step with me? That's what I told her. That's what I'm telling you. Well, she did. And she was learning things about taxes and legal strategies and financial literacy that made her so angry. It made us all angry when we learned this stuff, that it was not taught in the universities. And even though she was a freaking senior level executive, that's C-suite executive in the corporate careers, like chief executive officer, chief financial officer, chief technology officer, that kind of thing. So when you hear somebody say C-suite, that's what they're referring to. Even though she was at that level in her career, nobody shared these strategies with her. This was all new information for her. Where was this hiding? No wonder she wasn't getting ahead. The system's rigged. But she was building bonds with people in this new community who actually sincerely cheered her on and encouraged her to succeed. This was nothing like the corporate world, where people were nice to the point until you were doing better than they were. Now, granted, I'm sure your company is very different than that. I'm sure everybody's so supportive at the company you work at. So you're lucky. At first it was culture shock, and there was a level of disbelief with her. But the longer she stuck around and engaged and asked questions, the stronger her knowledge grew. And as she took action, her confidence grew. And the larger her bank account grew. Yeah. And I'm just going to leave it there. If you want to learn more about what she saw and take the next baby step, just see what we're about, then leave a comment, reach out to me. My contact information is all over this place. So I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay spicy.